Time used to feel like something I was inside of, something moving around me whether I kept up or not. There was always a sense of passing, of moments slipping away, of days being used or wasted, of time asking something of me. Even in stillness, there was urgency. I didn't realize how tense my relationship with time was until that tension softened. Now time feels different, not slower, not faster, just less solid. It doesn't press against me the way it used to. It doesn't feel like a current I need to swim with or against. It feels more like a container, and a gentle one. Days still begin and end. Clocks still move forward. But time doesn't feel directional in the same way. It doesn't point. Moments arrive, fill themselves, and empty out again. There's no sense of accumulation. Before, I was always aware of where I was in relation to something else. Ahead, behind, on track. Now that reference is gone. I don't measure the day against yesterday. I don't anticipate tomorrow, not because I'm avoiding it, but because time doesn't feel like something I need to manage. It holds what happens and then it releases it. That's all. There's a softness to this that I didn't expect. Time no longer feels sharp. It doesn't cut moments into units. It doesn't turn experience into segments that need to be filled efficiently. I can move slowly without feeling late. I can move quickly without feeling rushed. Speed doesn't carry meaning anymore. I've noticed how often urgency was self-created. Not imposed by circumstance, but by interpretation. The belief that time was scarce made everything feel heavier. Without that belief, time feels neutral. Not abundant. Not empty. Just available. I still have responsibilities. Still show up when something is required. But time doesn't feel like an adversary. It doesn't feel like it's running out. This doesn't mean I've escaped limitation. Things still end. Opportunities still pass. But endings don't feel threatening in the same way. They don't imply loss of self. Time no longer feels like a countdown. It feels like a holding space. I can sit in a moment without wondering what comes next. I can let an hour go by without accounting for it. Nothing needs to be justified. Time doesn't ask for explanation. There's a subtle freedom in realizing that time doesn't belong to me, and I don't belong to it. We coexist. Carries the day and then it lets it go. I don't feel pressure to use time well. That phrase has lost its meaning. Time doesn't need to be used. It's already doing its job. This has changed how I experience waiting. Waiting doesn't feel empty anymore. It feels full of whatever is present. There's no impatience in it, just presence without direction. I notice how often the mind used time to create anxiety, projecting ahead, replaying behind. Now those movements feel optional. Time doesn't insist on narrative. It doesn't require me to move with it. It simply allows movement to happen inside it. This softness has made rest easier, not because rest is longer, but because it's not interrupted by internal clocks. I don't count how long I've been resting. I don't count how long until I need to stop. Time holds the rest, and when rest ends, it ends. There's no urgency to resume. Time isn't waiting. I don't feel older or younger inside this softness. Age doesn't land as strongly. Milestones don't pull as hard. Life doesn't feel like a race through chapters. It feels like a series of moments held gently and then released. Time as a soft container doesn't promise anything. It doesn't soothe by reassurance. It simply stops applying pressure. And in the absence of pressure, life finds its own rhythm. I don't need to keep up with time. I don't need to make something of it. I just live inside it as it unfolds, moment by moment, held, and then let go. If this reflection met you where you are, you're already part of this space. You don't need to hold on to it, and you don't need to return. But if you do, these reflections will still be here.